So welcome back to our channel, and this is Wendy.
This is Pika.
And we're from We Can Survive. So today we wanted to talk to you a little bit about lymphedema. Breast cancer, we often like to laugh at it as the gift that keeps on giving. And once we'd gotten through all our treatments, our hands, our arms started to swell. What was this mysterious swelling in our arms? It turns out that if you've had breast cancer and you've had two things, an axillary node dissection, that means that they have a look at your nodes and see the status, whether there's any cancer in the nodes. If there is, then they will remove it. That, and they can remove many layers. Now, there are many different practices in terms of best practice for surgeons. We don't have the time to get into that, but what we would like to say is that if you have had lymph nodes removed, even if it's 2 or 3, you are then always at risk for developing a condition called lymphedema, which means essentially that there is swelling in your lymph system and the fluids can't clear because the nodes aren't there. I was always aware of lymphedema as a potential side effect once I realized that all my nodes in the left-hand side had been taken out. So I did actually actively manage it with physiotherapy and occupational therapy, even when I was really sick and didn't have any signs of swelling. It was after radiation that I noticed my left arm had begun to swell around the hand, around the upper arm, and especially around my forearm at the elbow area. So it was probably around 1/3 bigger than it is right now. And this really concerned me because along with the swelling, it's not just aesthetic. There's a numbness, there's a heaviness, there's a painfulness to it. Your arm just feels really heavy and swollen. After a lot of research, I found a surgeon in the US who is able to manage lymphedema via surgical means. This is not a very well-known topic in Singapore, so I just wanted to explore it a little bit with you guys. What I have is secondary lymphedema. That means it's come about because I've had breast cancer surgery and they've taken away the lymph nodes, and that's why I have it, because my arm's immunity is impaired. So I was told to stay away from mosquitoes, try not to use my left hand, even flushing a toilet with my left hand, carrying a bag with my left hand, going shopping with my left hand was going to be a problem. This to me was almost more depressing than the cancer, because I was like, what do you mean I can't use my left hand? Nobody told me that I wouldn't be able to use my left hand after I had breast cancer, right? So I found a surgeon in the US who specializes in lymphedema surgery. They take your lymph vessels and they connect them to veins, because essentially your lymph vessels will drain into your venous system. So what they do is they just make bypasses, like taking a shortcut, on a road. So this surgery is not very well known in Singapore currently. So it's something that we thought we would talk about, because the traditional treatment for lymphedema is that you would do a lot of what they call manual lymphatic drainage, or MLD. So that is done by a specialist lymphatic therapist or by a physiotherapist or an occupational therapist. So basically they do a lymphatic massage to try and redirect the lymph to the place where you still do have lymph nodes. I found that particularly traumatic, and I was told by my oncologists and my breast surgeons that lymphovenous bypass, which is what I did, wouldn't work. I couldn't see any reason why it wouldn't, because if you're going to make a bypass, why wouldn't the fluid just go where it's going to go end up anyway? So I took a chance, found that surgeon in the US. If you want any details about him, you can ask here. Just email us and we will send you all the details. He was very proactive in that he worked with us to find a solution. He actually made me take a YouTube video of my arm. I showed him where I had the swelling and where I had the pitting. Pitting means that, the fluid is all stuck there, so you can see it, hanging around your arm. And I explained my symptoms, and he was able to come up with a surgery plan, which he then sent to my surgeons in Singapore, and they executed the plan for me. And I was very fortunate to have a very good outcome, in no small measure due to the fact that I advocated for myself about wanting this surgery, making sure that there must be a solution. In this discovery process, we found something out about Wendy, which was very interesting, and I'd like Wendy to share what she found out on her lymphedema journey.
Okay, so I realized that something was wrong 6 months after my surgery. So my breast was very heavy. I could feel fluid. So I texted Pika. So she recommended me to see an occupation therapy. When I went there, she said that she can see that my arms is already quite bad. Like there's indentation and it doesn't come out, and the breast is filled with fluid. So I have to go there twice a week to do the drainage. What happened was that we managed to get it controlled. Recently, 2 years down the road, I realized that my limbs will swell. Even my non-operated limbs will swell when the weather is hot. So I went to my oncologist, my breast doctor, my radiation oncologist. No one can give me an answer. So I emailed, or Pika emailed to her doctor in US. I thought mine was secondary lymphedema, but actually what I have was primary lymphedema that was triggered by my lymph node removals during breast cancer. After we got the diagnosis, we managed to find a doctor in Singapore, and we went to see him.
Yes. So that was a very interesting thing to find out, that breast cancer surgery, if you have some insufficiency in your lymph nodes that goes undetected in your lymphatics, breast cancer surgery and removal of lymph nodes can trigger it. And that's not something that we knew at the time. So it was really eye-opening to find out. And at least we have a solution now. We have a surgeon who's willing to take us through it. So our take-home message with lymphedema is don't ignore it. Try to catch it early. Stage 1 and stage 2 are very treatable. There are things you can do. For stage 4 lymphedema, you can do liposuction. You can do lots of, there is hope. So if you would like to know more about those things, please drop us a line here, because we know how debilitating and depressing it can be to figure out that you survived cancer and now you have this other big problem on your hands. So please email us, and we will keep you updated on Wendy and our journey on the lymphedema front. Together we can survive.